folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I get a few people every once in a while on here saying, well, you only talk about the bad news. You never say anything about the good that's going on in the world. And, well, they're correct in that for the most part. But that doesn't mean that there's not some good stuff happening. And so I thought today would be a good time to make a video to acknowledge that while there's a lot of bad stuff happening in our world and things are starting to look pretty dark and grim, you know, that kind of dark, cold winter kind of thing, there are a lot of good things happening. And as bad as things seem, we should celebrate the fact that there are some amazing things happening in this world, and especially in our communities. I've had some people in the past, over the past couple of years, say that they think that this might cause, all of this stuff that's happening could cause, you know, some great revival to break out in America. And it's quite possible. It's quite possible, you know, a spiritual revival. But I personally don't think that it's going to be something similar to the ones of the 1700s and 1800s that happened here in the United States. I think it's going to be more of a personal awakening, that the wheat is being separated from the chaff, you know, that the remnant is being called up. And what I mean by that are the people that have that ear to hear, that they're you know, they're just predispositioned to hear the truth and to understand it, to be able to hear that calling of the Father and do their best to kind of come together and to awaken their lives spiritually. So I do think that that's happening, and I'm seeing that all over, especially here in my area. I'm seeing great things being done where people that are very much awake to what's going on, and they have this desire and this passion to get themselves and their families ready, but they feel that, you know, they're all alone. And then come to find out that they're not as alone as they thought. Just in the last couple of weeks, I have spoken with and met at least a half a dozen people that they have, and I'm just giving examples of my area because, well, that's what I know the most of, that have moved into this area. Most of them not even knowing that I had a YouTube channel, that I was here, that you know, we have this group going on. So in other words, they weren't moving here just because of me, you know, because they watched a video that I did that said, move to the Ozarks. They just moved here because they felt this drawing here, this calling here, that this was a safe place, and so they would move here under the intent of living a simpler lifestyle that was more sustainable through all of this turmoil that's going on, but also realize that they would probably be doing it alone, only to find out that they were right in the middle of a hornet's nest of other like-minded individuals, and said that it was like their prayers had been answered. Just the last couple of weeks, again, also had some emails from individuals that lived in an area. It's not something I have to keep secret. They lived in the area of Lawrence, Kansas, and this is just an example because this happens all the time. This is a very common thing that happens. I get an email from someone and they say, listen, I really want to find others around me. I've been reaching out and looking and seeing if there's any types of groups or others like me in my area, and I can't find any. And if you know of anyone that lives in my area, please let me know. Help me be in contact with them. And I had 3 emails that all 3 of them were almost identical within a week and a half time period, all pretty much in the same general area. They were, I would say, they were all no more than about 20 miles apart. So working on getting them connected. This kind of stuff is happening, and this is the good that's happening in the world. People are waking up. People are realizing that they took their family and their family values and their traditions and their morals for granted. They took for granted the ability to raise their families in a good family environment based on biblical morals and truths. They've taken for granted that of just the things that we have, the benefits that we have living in this country. And I think those people, they're waking up to that. and they're realizing that we have to turn inward to ourselves and to our families, and build them up and strengthen them, and hold on to them, because the things that are happening in this world are definitely overtly trying to rip them away from us. And so there is a lot of good going on. All of this stuff that's happening, it's bringing people together. It's helping us to realize that that what we've kind of grown up around here in this country of, every man for himself, not having any connections with anyone other than ourselves, that, we don't build relationships, we don't help each other, that is not a sustainable path for us. And I'm seeing that more and more. I've spoken to several people just in the last week, 2-3 weeks, that's all had similar types of stories and statements to tell me that through preparedness, through homesteading, through working together with others, like-minded, building a community, has really given them kind of a new energy, a new path. They've realized that they have a new purpose in life, that all the stuff that they've done before, whether it was jobs and careers and stuff, while may have been good, they just don't compare to this. And we're seeing people pull together in ways that it's just amazing. And I think that is one of the best silver linings in the clouds when it comes to all the just the evilness that's happening in the world. So as much as we get down about what's happening and how the world is changing, and how it's like, and I hear this a lot. People say that it's like that there's their heart is breaking. It's like a loss, like a loss of a loved one, when it comes to realizing how America is fallen so far from where we once were. And the silver lining is that America was always just a big thing. Okay, it wasn't anything true. It was an idea, and that idea can still exist. That passion and that patriotism can still exist, even if the government and the systems are failing and becoming more and more corrupt. That concept, that idea, can still live within us, and we can share it amongst ourselves. And that's what I see as really the greatness of what's happening. Because before, everyone had this patriotism of America, but let America run it, right? We're patriotic Americans, but America, the government and everything's doing all the work. We would pay our taxes and let them handle welfare, let them handle the people that needed help, and to bringing emergency services and things like that. And now we're seeing little pockets of groups of people that are saying, those systems are failing. And they not only are they failing, but they represent a completely different moral basis. They're representing things that we no longer agree with. So we're going to take back those responsibilities. We're going to take that back and into our own hands. And as a community, we're going to take care of each other. We're going to provide these needs for each other as a group. And so I'm starting to see that more and more. And I think that with all the stuff that's happening in the world today, that these are some of the real great benefits to it. There is an awakening of people. People are waking up and realizing what they should be doing with their life. They're waking up and realizing that they need the Father God closer in their life. They're opening up their Bibles. They're getting on their knees in prayer. They're realizing the true message of the gospel. People that they weren't, it's not like they were atheists or anything like that before. They considered themselves Christian maybe, or believer, or whatever, kind of in a name. But they're realizing that their spiritual walk is not as solid as they needed. And so there is always some good to come out of the bad. And I think that's what's exciting, and really that's what motivates me. It's what motivates me here in my personal life. Anymore, my days are spent almost solid anymore. I find myself neglecting little chores and projects around the house or finding it difficult to have time to complete them because we're so involved in all the things going on in our local community. And it's a great thing. It's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to struggle with trying to get, a certain project done here on the homestead because we're so involved in helping each other and planning and developing, homeschool groups and training and men's Bible studies and all of these other things that we're doing here locally. It's a great problem to have. And I'm not saying this to brag about what we're doing. I'm saying this because I know for a fact this is happening in other areas. Maybe not all of these other groups like ours have someone that has a YouTube channel that talks about it. So maybe you don't know about it. But I know for a fact it's happening because I talk to them. And so we're not the only ones out there. And it's a pretty amazing thing to see the work that God is doing in people's lives right now, waking them up and letting them know that now's the time, that you were born for such a time as this. And he's calling the remnant together. And people are really starting to form these groups, these communities, these tribes, because they see where things are headed. So when you watch my videos and I talk about, all the things that's happening, as bad as it is, understand that there's also a lot of good that's happening because of that. And that in itself is amazing. And we should praise God for that. We should thank him that even though we're going through this horrible period of history, and it may be the final period, that there are some really amazing things happening in individuals' lives and small community building and people that are really being helped in a way that they never dreamed possible. And that is what just motivates me every day. I find myself, no matter how tired I am, no matter how much my body aches, I wake up just energized every morning, thinking of all the things that we need to get done, because time is becoming short. And we've got to keep pushing forward, and we've got to keep working together. And it's a pretty amazing thing. Folks, this is what's important work, okay? This is just as important as your buckets of beans and rice and all that other stuff. It's time to get your houses in order. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. This is an important thing that we do, and we need to be doing that with each other also, building our little tribes out and our little mag groups and our communities, because in the end, that's the real way that we're physically going to make it through this. Of course, we have the spiritual side. We all know that. But in a physical sense, in a human world sense, working together with each other, that's the way it's going to be. Folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.